What's up, you cowards?
Welcome back to the Trent and Zac Show, where today we'll be diving into some of the most important things that have happened over the last few weeks.
We've been MIA for much to producer Mum's disgust. We've been MIA, but we're coming back with real purpose today. So.
With a vengeance, some might say.
Oh, we got a lot to talk about today.
It's time to, let the wheels fall off this thing.
We've finally recovered from the weekend. We had, which was a huge success. Our, we called it a 100k stream yacht party up on the Gold Coast, and yeah, it was huge.
Yeah, we had a bunch of friends on board, and we were celebrating 100,000 streams, and we just had a really exciting time sending it.
Oh, a little bit too hard.
Yeah, we sent. All right.
It was, it wasn't that well organised on our behalf.
Oh, we're shocking.
But when it got going, it was probably one of the funnest nights I've had this year.
That was one of the coolest events I've ever been to.
Yeah,
that was so fun.
There's going to be a video coming out, so hopefully we can, pin some of that to this podcast.
Yeah.
And show everyone how wild it was.
And actually, we did reach out to 2 fans, and we gave them invites, but we had to postpone it for a week because of weather, and neither of them made it. So that was
Let's show them what they missed out on.
No, that was so frustrating because we were like, we really want to party with you guys. So definitely for our next one, we need to make sure we've got fans 100%. There. So if you're gonna say you're gonna come, make sure you come because
you missed out big time.
Yeah, it was a good time. Almost too good. we were okay. So just to give you guys some context, I was just in Adelaide for some business related purposes, and then I had to get back to Melbourne, and I was in Melbourne and I missed my flight in the morning. I was like, guys, I'm waiting for some shekels to be transferred from my account. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get on the next flight. Anyway, I managed to get a flight last minute. The event started at 5. I touched down in the Goldie at 4:15.
At 5?
4:15.
It
Got
was so good,
off
though.
the plane, suitcase and everything. It was like 4:45, and it was an hour away. And then I had to pick up all the food from the supermarket as well.
And I got there Saturday morning, and the party was Saturday night, and I was running around like a headless chook. I was buying, I bought 4 litres of Grey Goose.
Yeah. And you had to pick up all those
shit.
Drinks from Karen, who sponsored it, which was really cool.
Freaking beautiful drink.
Yeah.
Those 1.6 standards knocked us around.
Yeah, and then so I'm coming in, and I've never bought a platter before. I've never made a cheese platter. So I was just like...
I could tell.
What you whipped up. Wasn't that bad, guys? There was like chips on one tray and a slab of cheese because I didn't know how to make it. And then I just bought a bunch of salami and just put it on there. So it was like just a tray of salami.
It went pretty quick though, didn't it?
Yeah, well, hey, I got some really good reviews from some of the party goers. But I don't know if it was as good as they made out. I think they're just stroking my ego a tiny bit.
Someone had to.
Yeah. I made it in the nick of time with the food. I slammed it all on the table. I was carrying my suitcase, and everyone's like, wow, he's here. He's alive.
And there was a lot of troubles as well with the boat, and there was just shit going on everywhere. But as soon as we took off...
That was so fun.
It was so good.
Yeah, we definitely had a bit too much fun. I think probably 3 hours into the event, things took a turn for the worse. So basically, I'm G'ing everyone up with Trent, we're drinking, and I went to the front of the boat, and I was like, all right, like, I wasn't hammered by any means at this point, but like, I was tipsy. And then we're lying down, I was like, actually, I just want to be in the back of the boat where there's lights. So I get up, and when you go down the side of a yacht, guys, it is a very narrow passage.
Especially when you're humdigging too.
And normally the saying goes, the gates to hell are wide and short and narrow is the path to the gates of heaven. And that is very much the scenario. So if you think there's this small narrow path to heaven and the massive wide gate to hell overboard, I may or may not have fallen
and found the gate to hell.
The gate to hell. So we're out in the Gold Coast, and we'd gone out to sea, and we're out. We were out.
And we were fairly hooking along. Like, we would have been doing, I don't know what the cruising speed of that boat is, but maybe 20 to 30k an hour.
Yeah, and when I say out, I mean, how far from shore do you reckon we were? I'd say
600 to 700 meters.
Yeah, and in the Gold Coast, something interesting about the movie world, dream world area, there's really bad rips and currents, and it's shark-infested waters. So it's like not recommended to be swimming in there.
Not shark-infested enough.
Yeah.
Because you're still sitting here.
So basically, I was at the front of the boat with Trent, and I went down the narrow pathway, and I was holding my Celine sunglasses in one hand, phone in the other hand, holding onto the rail. When you fall towards a rail you're holding onto, unless you've got a nice pivot on it, there's nothing stopping you from continuing over the rail. So I just started going like this. I started falling sideways, and I just pivoted over the rail, and I went overboard. My phone's cracked, so it's not waterproof. It's an iPhone 12 Pro Max. I'm overboard, and the music was blaring, and the boat is going, and I'm, hey!
There was not a chance anybody on that boat could hear him.
No one saw me go overboard because I took the solo trek back.
And one of our good mates.
No. Before we get into that, I just hear this wonderful DJ playing his lovely music and all the lights, and the boat is just traveling into the distance. No one knew I was overboard, and reality set in. I was like, oh my goodness, this is it. Because I was so far away from shore.
Oh, yeah, it would have been that scary.
You know when you swim out to those little, the buoys? Yeah. So it's like, they're not that far out. And then you swim and you're like, oh, I'm glad I made it to that.
When it's pitch black, you were fully dressed.
Yeah.
You were trying to tread water with your phone in one hand.
So I went overboard, and knowing that those buoys out in the beaches don't seem that far away, but it takes it out of you to get to them. And when I saw how far away the shore was, I was like, oh, wow, like, I'm going to die. And I was holding my Celines still and my phone in the other hand. And I went on my back, and I looked up, and I was, God, please, this isn't how I'm supposed to die. Like, it's like,
It's a pretty good way to go out.
Don't let me die like this. And I knew once the boat had continued on, is that no one's going to know I'm overboard for hours. Like, they're not going to figure it out. And then I was like, all right, I had to make a conscious decision. So I quickly held my phone out of the water, hoping the water damage hadn't got to it. And I tried to call Trent. And it just powers off.
I would have seen it come up on my phone and just chucked it.
The water damage sunk in when I'm holding it, and then the Apple logo came on and powered off, and I was like, oh no.
If you called me from the middle of the water, that would have been hilarious.
Yeah, well, if I hadn't cracked the phone, I reckon the call would have gone through because they're waterproof. Anyway, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to make it to shore holding Celines and the phone. Let the Celines go. That was a devastating move, those glasses.
They were on love. They were everywhere.
They were my favourite glasses.
You wore them to bed a couple of times.
I remember letting them go and feeling them sinking. And I was like, this is like something out of the Titanic. They're gone. And it was like when Rose tossed the diamond. Gone to the depths of the sea. It's not coming back. And I'm like, all right. I have to make it to shore and try and preserve my energy. I went on my back, and the water's like splashed in my mouth, and
it wouldn't have been an easy feat.
Yeah, well, I was covered in cloth, man. I had my clothes on, and I was like shivers. And I was just like, all right, I can't think about sharks. If they're going to get me, there's literally nothing I can do to defend myself. Actually, you can crawl into a ball and sprawl out, but there was no way I was going to waste my energy on that. I was like, if they start nibbling on my toes, I'm just going to have to accept it.
Meanwhile, on board, my good mate that I brought on, he's from Port Douglas, because it was him, myself, and you were on the front of the boat.
Yeah.
And then you've gone out the back, and we obviously weren't watching you. We were just chilling, talking crap. And then Ned just starts yelling out, Zac went overboard. He's like, I heard a splash. I don't even know how you'd hear a splash.
I can't believe.
Because there's water just going everywhere from the side of the boat.
Yeah.
I don't even know, because this kid's not all there.
Yeah.
How he could hear a splash is beyond me. And he's yelled out to the captain that was driving the boat, Zac's gone overboard. And there were a few cheers and a few hurrahs. But there was me that was actually worried. There was me that was actually worried about him. And I knew that Ned, like, it's not something you joke about. Like, Ned was dead serious. And he's like, no, Zac's actually gone overboard. And I'm like, well, is he on the boat? And I've ran down and done a lap of the boat, went underneath, and Zac was like nowhere to be seen. And if you can't hear Zac, then he's definitely a long way away. If you can't hear that jackass. So we established that Zac was in fact missing from the boat. So we've turned it around, but like the boat's decent size. By the time you turn that around, it probably would have been, I'm going to say a good 5 minutes.
I reckon it was like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Because
7 minutes 20.
It was like 7 minutes 20 and a few milliseconds to be fair, because I I'd accepted the boat wasn't coming back by that point, and I was like, all right. And you guys were way, way off.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, all right.
So we've turned around, and everyone's panicking. Like, everyone's gone to the front of the boat. Everyone was just like, he's gone. Like, I literally thought, that's it.
There's no way you won't see him again, right? It's like finding a needle in a haystack. It's the middle of the night. And I was wearing a black shirt. Out in the
Broadwater, not a chance. And my brother reckons that he saw your phone light.
He saw it
way out in the distance.
He would have seen a glimmer because it was dead.
Yeah, just saw it quickly. So we head in that direction. And as we're getting closer, we can just hear Zac absolutely scream, like just yahooing. I've got the video on my phone and it's hilarious.
Yeah, I was like, I thought I was gone.
And we just couldn't believe it. Like, I'm literally thinking, I'll be able to ride on this for a while. This is my big break. Everyone's gonna feel horrible.
Flowers should finally be given.
So yeah, and then we got him back on board, and we just couldn't believe it. We actually got a photo taken on the back as soon as you got back on. Remember, there were just cameras and shit.
Yeah, that'll
be hilarious to look at.
I couldn't believe when I saw the boat turning around. I was no way. I was like, I got to.
But even then, like to come around and then find where you, because it would have been, I'm going to say a K wide where we were.
Yeah.
From one side to the other.
And if you see the videos as well, you could only see my face once it got real close to the boat. Like, it was just
wearing
pitch black otherwise.
You were wearing a black shirt.
Yeah. And it was my little speck head.
I still can't believe it.
Yeah. That was, honestly, I was like, God's heard my prayers, man. I'm back.
It was wild.
And then we just continued like nothing happened.
Well, it was good because it was getting really rowdy on the boat. Like, it was getting out of control. And then that quickly like sobered us up. We're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then the party started again.
Yeah. But everyone was very comforting towards me.
Yeah.
I remember there was a moment I was below deck and I was just being showered in praises. So
you were.
Yeah, it was good. So it was good that I made it out alive, guys. We've actually got Trent and his friend to thank for me still being here, because it would have been a memorial.
If I had my time again, I don't think I'll do the same thing. But
massive success. We're stoked with the boat.
It was so good. Like, probably the best. Like, we've been on 2 of them boat parties, and ours blew them out of the water.
Yeah.
So we're thinking of hosting another one of these yacht party cross Trent and Zac Show in Melbourne. They got a massive boat coming. Like, it's gonna blow the other boats out of the water, isn't it, Zac? It's huge. It's got a jacuzzi.
Yeah, it's about it fits about 400 people.
Yeah, and we want to party with all you guys at home. So all our listeners, comment below if you guys would be keen on coming along, and we're going to pick some winners, and we might even, I don't know, host an event where you guys can buy tickets or whatever, and come party with us and act like dickheads with us.
Yeah, and the boat that we will be going on is like a proper boat with proper hand railing and everything. It's not a yacht, just so you guys know.
Your safety will be
number one priority.
So you might be thinking, why is this dickhead wearing a suit today? A man in suit means business, guys.
I'm here to talk
business. And that's
business.
what we're here to talk about. Yeah. We're about to drop some big tea. While scrolling on thy phone today, I come across a quite a disturbing article, Zac. I stumbled across this article that Lucinda Strafford has a new boyfriend. Do you know any about this, Zac?
Well, after you showed me the article, I did know who the individual was.
The DJ?
Yeah, I do know who he is.
Is he 50? He looks 50.
I have no idea how old he is. I know a tiny bit about him, but I have blanked it. So it was like when I was shown the article, I was like, oh wow! Like it didn't come as a massive surprise.
Yeah. Wow. So all I can say is wow.
What did the article say? Just for the listeners.
So the article says that she's been in Dubai with this guy, this DJ, and that she's on her way to Ireland, was it?
Yeah.
I think, to spend time with this 50-year-old DJ. He's not 50, but he looks at guys. And I just can't believe it. Like, when I was reading that, I'm like, what the hell is going on? Because, like, she was still talking to you, a week ago?
Yeah, so we officially stopped talking maybe a week and a half ago, 2 weeks max.
And she, if I remember correct, she blocked you when she went to Dubai.
Yes.
So this is all making sense.
Yes.
This is making sense. She blocked you when she was going to see this guy.
Yeah.
In this article, it says that an insider has come forward and let them know about her. She was going on holiday to see what happened, to see how it went with this DJ. And all I'm going to say is inside of my ass. Zac, we're not dumb. We know that that's her management. Guys, there's no insider that knows anything but her management. So I'm going to put it out there. Her management has obviously got their band together and tried to jump the gun and, I don't know, shoot it. Would you call that shooting it down or?
No, so with the run-ins I've had with her management, I think it's quite clear what's happened and they've released it to the press.
Yeah.
But that's how they roll. They're very, very calculated, and there were articles that came out that...
Very calculated, like the fake paparazzi shoot they forced my boy to do.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. So they know what they're doing, and post-breakup, like, they were basically begging me to keep my mouth quiet about it, and they said, you don't know this place like us. You've only been in the industry for a few months at that point. Like, well, even keep your lips sealed, you're going to ruin her career, blah, blah, blah.
I heard that a lot, yeah.
You were actually there on the phone. Remember that?
Over New Year's, when she was going on Love Island All-Stars, and her management rang her, and you and I were upstairs at my house in Queensland, and we could hear them laughing about Zac, like pretty much at Zac's expense. And then Lucinda comes upstairs and puts her management on the phone to Zac, and they literally told you to keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
And that you're going to ruin her career. We know what's best for her.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm her partner.
Yeah. It was a really, really difficult position for me. So, like, to take it right back to the start, it was like, I went on a TV show not thinking I'd find love, Yeah. And then I met this person, and I just thought she was the best thing that had ever happened to me. She's, like, beautiful. She's funny. She's so smart, although, like, the camera didn't do him any favors with some of that, but really intelligent, successful girl. And when I left, I was so smitten. I was like, I found this girl. I'm so madly in love, and it's everything I've ever wanted. And I kept saying to my friends, like, I think I found the one, Oh, no. And
the one, all right.
Yeah. And then anyway, so I was in the UK for 2 months before I came back to Australia. And about a month and a half through, I picked her up from a party. And basically, she's like, Zac, can you hold on to my phone? She's pretty drunk. She's like, can you hold on to my phone? I got to go get my stuff. I was like, sweet.
I remember this clearly as well.
And then she gets a text from this unknown number, and it's like, I hope you enjoy the rest of your night. Talk later, X. And I was like, who the hell is this, man? And I opened it, and there was just all these messages that she'd been talking to this guy the whole time behind my back when I was in the UK.
That is fucked.
And I was just devastated, man. I couldn't believe it. And it was like, I'd gone to Portugal for 3 days, and she'd been talking to this guy the whole time I was in Portugal. They're talking about going out to dinner, and he's like, I'm 6'5", and she's like, oh, I'm 5 foot whatever X, and like he's like, I want to take you out to dinner. It was crazy for me to read. It was like absolutely soul destroying moment. And basically got her in the car, and then we started driving back from London. It was like an hour and a half drive, or an hour drive. And I said, do you have anything you need to tell me? And she's, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And obviously after talking about it for a bit, I said, look, I know you've been talking to someone else. And then it was a pretty bad moment in my life, because it was like, I just was like, I'd put all my hopes and dreams into this person, but because you get so swept up on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was so swept up, and it all felt so real. And I had a few people say to me like, oh, like, be careful, it's her second time round. She's calculated and all this. She knows what she's doing. And I just didn't want to believe any of it, because, it's this beautiful, in my eyes, very innocent, sweet person.
Yeah.
And like, she couldn't do any wrong. So it like shattered the glass ceiling for me quite a lot.
And that was the starting of you seeing the cracks.
Yeah. So
that's cheating. She was cheating.
So I confronted her, and her excuse was, but he's this DJ, he plays at Wimbledon. It's really good for my career to have him as a contact. And I said, listen, that's emotional cheating, what you're doing. She's like, I never did anything physical. And I was like, not yet, but that's where that leads. That's
but
literally where it leads.
It's still cheating.
Yeah, and it is. It's not physical, but I think it's emotional cheating. And like, I you know me, I don't talk to girls like that at all. I wouldn't have regular conversations with girls. My very close friends, I still keep it pretty short.
Yeah.
And I was just devastated, man. And then so we got back to her place and I started packing up, and then I called you. Do you remember?
I remember, because that's why I can remember. I can literally remember the exact events that took place.
Yeah. And I was just so uncertain of what to do, because it was like I had another few weeks left in the UK and we were meant to go to Paris together.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my goodness. And then the next morning, it was all the waterworks, and she said, you're going to leave me just like everyone else does. And she's crying and she's like, I promise you it was a one-off. It'll never happen again. It's just because we're so early in the relationship. Given that we'd been together for like 3.5 months at this point.
Yeah.
And I'd been with her the whole time in the UK. So I mean, she was texting him when I was in bed with her. Like, I remember looking at some of the timestamps. And then she's like, I'll do anything to fix it. Like, let's go out to this spa resort. Like, it'll be fine. And I went against my judgment and obviously your advice, and I didn't want to include my family in it because I didn't want it to taint how they felt about her. Yeah. So you were literally the only person I told.
Yeah.
And yeah, I forgave her, and I thought like maybe it was a one-off.
Yeah.
And then I said, can you just show me those messages again? Because obviously I only did a brief scroll.
Yeah.
And then I turned her phone off and gave it back to her, and then we talked about it. And she deleted all the history and the conversations, and I was like, oh man.
That's wild.
But I just was like, look, I loved her so much, and I do think people make mistakes, so I overlooked it. And then, yeah, like I just had to move past it, and I thought like we were over it and it was good. And then we went long distance again, and there's a few shady things that happened long distance that I won't get into.
A lot of shady things.
I feel like this article just kind of confirms that she was talking to him the whole time.
It's like done a full 360.
Yeah.
That your intuition was correct.
Yeah. And it's really disappointing to hear, because, you know, she, after the breakup, her and her management was so adamant, you need to protect her career and don't say anything. And it's like, in the meantime, she's been posting passive-aggressive TikToks.
Bro, it's killing me that... And you shut your mouth. Like, you've spoken so highly of her since breaking up.
Yeah.
But she's allowed to go... And her TikToks are, like, popping off.
Yeah.
And she's allowed to throw shade at you every single TikTok. But if you posted one, like, her management would go off their head.
And so when she was in Australia, we had, like, a very serious discussion about things, because obviously the whole All-Stars ordeal and everything. And I was just like, I'm helping her. And then when she got back to the UK, it became reality for me. I was like, actually, she's been talking to these guys behind my back.
Yeah.
She's wanting to go on another dating show, and she's prepared to completely throw me under the bus for her career. And I finally cracked and spoke to my mum about it. And I was like, Mum, what do you think? And my mum said, no one that loves you would do that to you.
Oh, no way, bro.
And then I spoke to a few more friends, and then they said to me, like, Zach, can you not see that it's like each move she's made has been for her career, and she's not the sweet, innocent person you think she is?
Looking back on it now, it's quite clear that her whole Australia trip was a PR stunt. Once Love Island Australia finished, she went on a PR stunt tour of Australia.
Well, her management told her to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it worked. She got what she wanted for her career. She got followers in Australia by, touring around the countryside, pretending that she was, head over heels for Zach. And it's just so clear. Every move of hers is calculated.
Well, now looking back, I do think, now that this news has come out that she's seen this guy that she was talking to behind my back, it's like, she's never in love with me.
Yeah.
If that's like what's happened. Because it's like, if you love someone, you wouldn't be seeing someone
100%.
else. Yeah, it's crazy, because I broke up with her because I was like, this is just too much. After speaking to all my friends, I was like, this isn't what someone who loves me would do. I broke up with her, and then 5 days later, she's posting a bunch of Snapchats crying and stuff. And I called her, and then she's like, I want to work it out. Like, please, like, I can't believe you've blocked me and announced it and all this. And I said, all right, well, we can see how it goes. And she's like, I think these are the reasons the relationship broke down, and I'm sorry. Like, let's work on it. Let's fix it. And then we were still talking till like 2 weeks ago. And then she's...
Because you were even talking about flying over there a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. And I've got the receipts, man. So, like, I'm not making it up. So
100%.
I was talking about going over there, and then she's like, no, I don't think it's a good idea that you come over here. Like, let's end it here. And I was like, sweet. Like, I respect you, and I want you to live your best life. Cool. And then she blocked me, and then she already had her Dubai trip booked. So the fact that she was talking to this guy and they'd booked a trip together, and then she's still telling me to fly over, it was just like, it's crazy. And I've copped so much hate online, so much saying she deserved better, you're an F&C, you're a scumbag, and she was feeding into all of that to...
Well, she has, by the TikTok she's posting.
Yeah,
and the attention-seeking posts, when in reality it's nothing like what it looks like on social media.
Well, I called her after a few TikToks. I was like, dude, like, please stop.
Yeah.
Like, it's really...
It's humiliating
it's
for you.
horrible.
Yeah.
I was like, it's actually really horrible, especially because you're saying you love me on the phone that day, and then you posting that on TikTok and acting like nothing's happened. She's, oh, but it's not about you. It's like, what do you mean it's not about me, man? Who else is it about? You know?
That's what infuriated me in the comments, was when she's like, by the way, guys, this isn't about Zac.
Yeah, well, the thing is, she's a very, very calculated person.
She's
and
not
like,
dumb.
I'm not an idiot either. I'm no saint. I don't think I'm perfect. And there's definitely things that she didn't like about me as a person, which is fine. But I think, like, actions speak volumes, you know? And since the breakup, the fact that she was on the blower with me, begging me to keep my mouth shut,
For her career.
And all of that, it was just like mind blowing. And the thing I think is like, what does her mum think about this? So when I found out about the text messages, the next day I was packing up my suitcases. The mum's like, what's happened? I told her, and she's like, oh my goodness. And she's real upset with Lucinda. But then the mum's saying, don't worry, Zac, she's not into him. And the mum was gaslighting me too. So it's like, I was just getting gaslit from all these people. And look, we're not saints. We know like how some people can behave and like the truth of situations. And I just, like, looking back now, I'm like, I actually got played.
You got played
massively. And I just...
And she would still be trying to play you right now if you didn't call it off a week ago.
No. So she was the one that sent the finalizing message a couple weeks ago. And then
probably when she landed in Dubai.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, and then I was getting a lot of messages from people saying, oh, she's been with this guy in Brighton and stuff. And I was just like, oh, yeah, but you get so many fake messages.
Yeah, you don't know what to believe.
And it's don't believe them, Zac. They're all fake. And I was just like, all right, I won't. So the way it's gone, obviously, like, it's devastating. And, I didn't think that, like, her saying be quiet was a malicious thing. I actually was like, maybe she's right. And maybe...
Because you did want what was best for her career as well. So that's why you...
Well, that's why I went along
you
with
know
all
better
of it.
than to listen to the management.
That's why I went along with all of it, and I thought her management had my back, and I thought, I just think people... I don't know, man. I was just so blind. So the fact that it all has played out the way it has, and she's now with this guy, it's like... I just look back, I'm like, man, I'm just too forgiving sometimes.
It's your own worst
And
nightmare.
it's like, I copped so much because I decided to keep quiet. I got so much shit from people. I got so much hate. Like, you're an effing blah, blah, blah. Like,
and everyone thinks she's innocent.
Deserve better than you. And then she's getting praise in the comments. You go, sis, he's this toxic, narcissistic.
Slay sis.
And it's
all
like...
that shit. I hate that shit.
And I just had to bite my tongue because I was like, I just want to do what's best by her. So the fact that she's gone and done this to me, I'm just kind of like, whoa. It was never about, hey, let's protect each other. It was like, let me do what I want. You need to protect me.
And I can do what I want to you.
Yeah. So it's a bit sad that it went that way. And I think, like, I do think people make mistakes in their lives, but I think seeing someone behind your partner's back, lying and having conversations and then
it's all
dating them the moment you break up.
Yeah.
I think the writing's kind of on the wall with where that's at. And, if it's good for her career to be with this guy, I literally wish him good luck. I did get warnings from guys that were seeing her before me saying, don't trust her. But I was like, I've just been jealous.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I wish him the best of luck. And I hope
he's got his hands full.
I hope it's not for her career. I hope she's not made this move for her career. I hope she's actually done it out of love. And I hope it works out for them.
Yeah.
But I think the best thing is to just maybe call it here and not talk about her anymore and just leave that part of my life behind me.
I'm shattered for you as one of your best friends. Yeah, it's horrible to see, you know, the toll that's taken on you going through all this. And I've been obviously with you from the start of the relationship. So when you did call me saying that she was talking to this guy behind your back, and then it's all come out now, it's obviously going to be a big kick in the old fella for you. Like, it's horrible. I don't wish that upon anyone, but I just think hopefully if people are listening to this, maybe they'll see the true colours of Lucinda and, yeah, that it's not all smoke and mirrors on social media. It's not all real. And, yeah, I guess just a bit of the person that she actually is. But, yeah, I'm hoping once you're over this fully, I never have to hear her name again, because I can't stand what she's done to you and how she acts and behaves. So, yeah, I'm hoping that we get the old Zachy boy back, because I've been telling everyone that, like, you haven't been yourself lately and that you're not the guy that I met on Love Island, because, you know, everyone knows you as a hilarious guy, and I feel like Lucinda's taken the wind out of your sail a bit. So I'm hoping we can get you back on track and we don't have to hear her name again after this. Yeah, before we close this chapter, you know, is there anything you want to get off your chest? And because after this, I'm going to make sure her name never comes out of her mouth again.
Lucinda, if you are watching this, hey, I just thought I'd say I'm gutted that it came to this, genuinely, and I'm gutted that we didn't work out. But I think, you know, as time progressed, I didn't really like the person I was with anymore. So, yeah, I'm sorry about that. And, you know, I genuinely wish you all the best for your career. And I hope that you found what you wanted and that you have a really good and successful life. But, yeah, I think that's all I've got to say about it. And I'm happy to close this chapter finally. And
that's my boy.
For everyone that's been asking what happened with you and Lucinda, I hope this answers all those questions. And, you know, please don't take this as an opportunity to go and, you know, send her hate and be horrible to her, because, like, I've been on the tail end of that for a while now and I know what it's like.
It's not nice, yeah.
It's really horrible. Trent's been through it too. I just feel like it's only fair at this point that I can share my side of the story, because I think, you know, there's got to be a point where I'm not constantly just
the
being
bad
berated.
guy, yeah.
And yeah, so please, guys, just all love and respect in the comments. Don't turn this into something ugly that it's not. Things played out the way they did. It sucks, but that's just the way life goes sometimes. And reality TV, as you and I both know, paints people to be a certain way. But, like, at the end of the day, there is so much that goes on behind social media that people don't see. Yeah, I'm happy to be moving on. And it's all up from here. We've got a really exciting guest next week. And
I'm excited. I'm actually nervous. I'm nervous.
We are focusing on Trent and Zac now. Please, no more questions about Lucinda, guys.
The real show starts now, guys.
This is it. This is the beginning of the Trent and Zac in their villain era.
Shit's about to hit the fan.
We're ready. We're gonna take.
It's gonna be good. I'm excited for what's to come, and, you know, we finally got Zac back, and hopefully you can be funny again, man, because you've sucked.
Bro, even my mum was like, Zac, what the hell has happened to you? And I couldn't say anything to her for so long.
Yeah.
Bugger, man. But yeah, we're good. We're back. We're back in black. The suit may or may not need to come out again. Who knows? But
hopefully we can put it away for a little while, but if it has to, it will.
Yeah. We'll wipe the dust off the shoulder pads. These are my actual
crotch
shoulders,
area.
guys. There's a lot of dust in the crotch area at this point.
It's very overgrown.
We actually had to hire a professional cleaner.
Thanks so much for listening, guys. Sorry for being a bit inactive the last couple of weeks, but we are back to our weekly routine, and we're going to bring you guys some great content. So we're excited. Don't forget to follow the Trent and Zac Show on all social media platforms and stay up to date with us on there. Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks so much, guys. See you later.